Following is a production of Locked Up Sports.
Everybody, this is Don LaGreca from the Michael K. Show. When it comes to talking sports, Bob Walters and Brett Grasso are the authority.
Can't wait.
When it comes to talking sports, they're the authority. It's Bob Walters and Brett Grasso. It's Locked Up Sports, and it starts now.
Bring them out, bring them out, hey. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, hey. Bring them out.
Here we go. Bob Walters, Brett Grasso from the Brian Gunzel Studios. This is Locked Up Sports. It's the Mets Locked Up Sports pregame show. Brett, the Mets are blowing it. They blew it last night. They lost last night. The Braves won. Diamondbacks lost at least. They're now in a virtual three-way tie. What's going on? There's injuries all over the place. Alvarez got hurt. The manager got thrown out.
Oh man, it was ugly, ugly. And
Classic Mets.
It's when you look back at June 1st, you go, I would beg to be in this position right now. So as good as we had it, and yeah, we could have went to Atlanta, won that one game we had. We needed to win less. Guess what? We didn't. That's yesterday. Not worried about yesterday anymore. Problem is, yesterday was a lot of injuries. One guy who came back from an injury wearing some massive back brace in the middle, like the backup coach is trying to take him out of the game, but he's coming back in the game.
Yeah,
Our head coach gets tossed out of the game. It was just all over the place. It wasn't a good day for the Mets.
No, but it seems like it's
they got to come back.
That's what they had in Atlanta too the day before, and now they're gonna have to go back. Now I'm not somebody who thinks the Mets got screwed in Atlanta because I think they were like, you know why? Because you can't complain about it, right? They couldn't control it. Atlanta wasn't giving up the home field. They could have played in a neutral site, but would the Mets have played in a neutral site?
Let me tell you, the Mets, how the Mets looked on that first game in Atlanta, they should be happy to not have to play those next two games. They should look at themselves as maybe we don't even have to play those games. They still might not have to play those games. And no, based on with the Diamondbacks, yeah, they may have an easier route now with the Padres already in. But with the Diamondbacks just absolutely falling apart. So you think the Mets are falling apart. The Mets lost 2 games, all right? The Mets lost 2 baseball games. This team has come back time and time again all year. Every time we write them off, oh, that's going to be it. This team comes back. A different guy steps up. Yes, Alvarez is out of the lineup. Lindor is now DHing tonight. Finally got Martinez out of this lineup.
And you know what? We got Acuna for 35.
0 for 35. Horrendous. Pete Alonso, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm on the edge of if I knew anybody who we could put at first base, I'd have him out of this lineup. And that's who I'd be screaming at that point because I am sick of it. He is atrocious. The harder and more important these games get, the worse Alonso is. The bigger the spot, the brighter the lights, the worse Alonso is.
Yeah, he's been feeling the pressure the whole time. Now, does it bother you? Does it worry you that Manaea, our best pitcher, someone that you could count on no matter what, for 8 innings, 7, 8 innings for the last 3 months, came out and pitched 3 2/3, 6 runs, 7 hits, and only 1 strikeout? That worries me because we got Quintana tonight.
You want to know why? Because if it was any other game and you had a different umpire, first of all, those runs wouldn't have occurred. Second of all, you look at the pop-up that occurred that Alvarez would have been a ridiculous play. Little things like that. He made the pitches. We had 1 foot left of enough space that if Alvarez was there, he would have caught it. The whole inning would be totally different. There's just so many little things of that it wasn't that far off from being one of the classic Manaea outings. He just didn't get. He did not have it.
It wasn't.
You're right. He didn't have it.
He gave up.
But
the
you
grand
can't
slam,
expect
right?
to put up 1 run.
He gave it
the grand slam, but he never should have came to the plate. So I'll give you that, but he never should have came to the plate.
And then Alvarez, as we see right here with these pitches, it was a disaster. The umpire was bad, and he shouldn't. And also, he's got to have a feel for the game, right? He's got to have a feel that it's an important game. Know. You can't throw the manager out in the first inning or the second inning like that. You can't do that.
Absolutely not.
And to have that happen, and it just seems like it's all falling apart. It's very Mets now because you said, okay, they're lucky they didn't play those 2 games in Atlanta. They just continued it. They just did it in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a better team than Atlanta. Milwaukee now, they seem to be playing everybody last night. They're not going to burn out their starters. They're not going to burn out their bullpen.
They were very clear.
But they're gonna,
Yeah,
you know,
they were clear with
they
what they're
beat
gonna
us
do.
last night. Also, you can't say that it was all the umpire. Now, yes, the umpire screwed up, but the Mets were 0 for the game with runners in scoring position. They had a golden opportunity in that seventh or eighth inning where they loaded the bases, and you had the tie. They brought the tie and run to the plate, right? And if it wasn't for a drop error by the second baseman out in short right field, they don't even score any runs. So, and Alvarez, there's too many pass balls with Alvarez. Right,
Well,
Alvarez has
yeah,
too many.
and-
He
yeah.
doesn't. He doesn't turn his glove. There's too many balls get through.
Oh no,
Alvarez.
that's been well, and there you go. And Alvarez, if you didn't see, he hurts his back, which looked like, as a person who has a very serious back injury himself. As soon as I saw Alvarez, I was like, oh my god, he is that tightened up. Something got hurt. It doesn't tighten up for no reason. Like, spasms aren't just like, oh, you have some spasms. That's your body telling you there's something wrong. I'm trying to protect myself. And Alvarez, as you know, is out of the lineup tonight. Terens will be catching now again.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the lineup.
That means we have some defense, but that means we have some defense behind the plate. And Terens is not, too bad with the bat either.
No,
Like,
Terens,
he hasn't been
he throws runners out at like a 70% clip, like an outrageous
right.
clip.
And let me tell you, that's one of our biggest Achilles heels. That if when Alvarez is behind the plate. So
now let's get to the lineup.
Alvarez, he looks like he's going to be all right. So let's see.
about
We'll get him back in the lineup soon.
45 minutes from the first pitch. Okay, let's get to the lineup. It's a different lineup tonight. It's a completely different lineup. You got Lindor leading off DH, and he has to DH. He can't play shortstop. He can't bend over like that every play. You got Iglesias at second. Okay, Vientos sitting third. Nimmo in the cleanup spot, which is something
They
that's
moved
new.
Alonso
Where was
down, and that's all we could do. You can't get Alonso out of the lineup. You got to move him down. You can't have him disrupt. If something happens at the top of the lineup.
And then you got, but Pete's now backing him up. He's not providing much protection in that lineup. Nimmo's not a cleanup hitter. Let's be real. Okay. And then you have
the
Sterling.
protection was supposed to come from Martinez.
Yeah. And then you got Marte in the lineup, who I like. I like Marte. I think he's been hitting better.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Terens.
He's the best he's been all year right now.
Terens can't hit, but he's a defensive catcher. It's kind of the opposite of Alvarez. Yeah. And then he went with Bader in center, which is a defensive move, because Bader's a good center fielder. He's a better center fielder than what's his face. And then you got Acuna.
Well, Winker's been cold too. Well, Winker's been, ice cold too. So he's another one. You can't put ice cold guys in the lineup right now, because if all three of them are probably not going to get a hit today, and you go, what are you going to do? And
then you got the kid, Acuna, which I love. I love having him in there, because you know what? He's too young. He's too young to realize how big the game is, and he's just going to go out there.
Yeah.
He's going to play his game. The Mets seem tight to me in Atlanta and last night. They seem tight. They seem nervous. I think the Braves were getting in their head a little bit. They're looking ahead to that doubleheader that they got to possibly play on Monday, and you're going to burn. Whoever wins this is going to be screwed out of the game one, right? I mean, the Padres and these Brewers have got to be sitting here licking their chops, being like, "Oh, this is going to be easy money in the first round."
No, see, I don't see it that way, and honestly, I'm not looking to try and play my way into San Diego. I'm just not. I'm looking to play myself into Milwaukee again. I just think we match up better. I think the West Coast trip out there, I think having a couple games in a controlled environment. I mean, San Diego is going to be nice either way, but the better we do, we end up going all the way to the West Coast. How like West Coast trips, New York Mets? You know any good history with West Coast trips?
Yeah, but this year they've been better. This year they were better on the West Coast.
I'll give you that. I'm just saying that I'm not. It's not like whichever spot I end up in, don't care. Don't care. I honestly, part of me wants to go to Milwaukee rather than go until.
We're past the point of picking our
No,
opponents.
I know.
We just want to get. You just gotta get in at this point. And
Yes.
now you're in a dead heat with these two teams. Yes, the Braves are playing better. The Mets and Arizona are not playing well at all. Arizona's, they're crapping the bed every night. They won one game, but 2 nights ago they lost 10-0. 10-0. Match to the Giants. That's
what we need. We need that. And even last night, like, they didn't get any opportunities after they could never catch up. Let's see. I think Lindor, it looks like I'd want him as the DH. That means he's going to play every day. If we want him at shortstop, I don't think he can play every day. Acuna's just as good. Or
no, he's not.
He's proven that he's good. No. He might be just as good with Lindor with the bad back. To save his back.
You might be just as good as Lindor with the bad back.
Very much so. He's saying, I can't bend over. We don't need him to repeatedly, every single time the ball's pitched. It's not about the plays. Every time the ball's pitched, he has to bend over. You know what I mean? So you want to take that away. Let me tell you, we have an option. Thank God we don't need Martinez. You leave Lindor in the DH spot. Acuna, until he really screws up, get him out. Let me tell you, his bat's showing up.
Brett, I was
And
at
we
the,
just
I was
like
at,
that, like you said.
I was at the game against the Nationals the last week before the Philly series. He hit a double, and it was the hardest hit ball I've seen hit in a long time. It was a frozen rope. It never
Electric.
got more than 4 or 5 feet off the ground, and it went right straight to the wall. It had, I don't know what the exit velo was, but it would have to be way up there, like way in the 110, 115. It was a rope. And he hits the ball hard. He plays loose. He looks, you know what? He might be one of those players that's better in the major leagues than he was in the minors. Because
I think he got a little bit intimidated finally when he got to Atlanta, because he had that good series prior. He got to Atlanta, the big stuff with his brother. His whole family was in the crowd. He got handcuffed on the first ball to him, and missed the play. I don't think I think he's going to be looking really good tonight. Vientos is a star. We've seen it. I mean, he's had a couple rough go the last couple weeks, but that home run last night, that's what spurs us back into games. Marte's at the best he's been playing. Alonso, I can't imagine. It's like, I want to keep saying he's due, but he's been due all year. That's because when you don't do anything, you're always due. But you move on. Iglesias is Iglesias. Now, I'd like to see how he is, because let me tell you, he didn't look good hobbling around after he got hit on the foot. And if you break a little bone in the foot, it's not hard. You got hit on the top of the foot. Let me tell you, he hobbled around the rest of that time, and he's one that if you lose a step, you're not the same defender. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking a half a step. No, I know. You don't need a guy like that losing a half a step. It's like a guy when you get dinged up. It's like, yeah, they're great when they're max effort. Nimmo's a guy like that. But when you get him a little banged up, you don't have that extra gear and all the other stuff. But you know what? Nimmo's, let me tell you, he's a guy who's going to be with us. We gave him the money, and this is why we gave him the money. We need him to step up with one of his big, home runs like he's been doing, or, big at-bats, working counts. And I'm telling you, Lindor stepped up and had a good day. Hits last night on base 3 times last night.
They're shooting him up, right? They're shooting up Lindor with all kinds of stuff in the back before the game.
It's not like that. They gave him like his one steroid injection, like in the facet injection, which is more or less
thing before the game.
No, that's like a cortisone one that they sunk into him last week. But that's serious. Like, when that happens, that's serious. Like, that means he's got nerve impingement. Like, something's really in there, and there's no like, oh, cortisone real quick, you're good for the next however many hours. No, Toradol though. So right before the game, Toradol injection, and all that is mask the pain, big anti-inflammatory, but they work. They're less and less effective as you take them, and there's only so many you can take. So
he's getting
that's
like,
just that the players are like, oh, another Toradol.
Is that what it is? He's getting the tolerance?
Yeah. But he's also going to start healing as it goes on. So he is going to keep getting better. So I'm telling you, the way he looked last night and the way he swung the bat and ran the bases.
Night, right? Compared to the way he looked that first time when he ran the bases.
No, let me tell you, he's on the mend. I keep looking at this stuff like, oh my God, it makes me very nervous with Alvarez and with Lindor. And I look back and I go, they're young. Like, I know they're not that young. Like, Lindor's 30, like Alvarez is. Alvarez is going to be great in 2 days.
Yeah.
Whereas I saw that and I was like, I thought of myself.
10 years. That's fine. Alvarez is our catcher for the next 10 years.
Right. But I truly, he's in pain. Like, there's a good chance like Lindor's surgery after the season.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you that much. There's a good chance it's surgery after the season. Well, no, because otherwise it will linger. It will linger, but surgery's not good.
What bothers me is the fact that was a big time pitcher last night. Mania, we needed to get that one. Just like we needed we needed that one last night. That was the win, right? That was the one that we put in our back pocket. Okay, we got Mania going. We put that one in. That's going to be a win. When you're going win, loss. Yeah, that's the win. Yeah. Tonight listen, Quintana's been all over the place. He pitches good. He could pitch 7 innings and 2 hit ball, or he could be just like Mania last night. And, Koenig's a good pitcher. He's a lefty. It's 2 lefties going.
Yeah, no, I definitely. And the Mets have shown they're just not hitting the lefties. And the Braves were happy enough to throw up every lefty they had versus the Mets and line them up. And now that, trust me, but it's not on Quintana. Quintana's got to do his job. And his job is to leave this at 3 or 4 runs max. And I'm talking, whatever that is, 7 innings. Like, if he pitches 5 innings, I don't want anything more than 2 or 3. Now, is he going to do that? It doesn't matter. The Mets offense needs to step up and score 10 or 12 runs in a couple of these games. That's what we've proven we can do. No, 10 runs like we did it 3 days in a row last week. What do you mean? That's who we are. Now, again, we don't even do that in a Yeah, which is great, but I mean, we don't need. Yeah, but what I mean is we need an inning with 6 runs in it, and that's what we've been doing. We've been getting no hit for like 6 innings, 7 innings, and then we have 1 blow-up inning. This team's always capable of winning any game at any time. So, like, it's gonna. I'm telling you, this team. It's so hard to watch because we have such bad, histories as Mets fans that we are just like that. I've always been the eternal optimist, and the problem is with that is you get freaking burned every single time.
I was saying
Bob's a total pessimist.
That we need to be able to lose 2 out of 3 coming into Atlanta, and we got to that point where we could lose 2 out of 3 and we would still be okay. And I still think the sweep is inevitable. After that first game, I was like, "There's no way they're winning a game here." No way.
And that's why I'm so glad we got hurricaned out of town, because us getting kicked out of town is probably what saved our season.
Yeah, but
I really believe that. We did not look good. Imagine that Mania performance in Atlanta right after that other performance. Imagine how that would feel. And that would have been. I'd rather have lost that Mania game to the Brewers than versus Atlanta. I know there's no real difference because they both won, but.
We did now. What do you think about this? This was late breaking news from actually a friend of the show, guy we've had on the show that we spoke on the show.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Bob Nightingale, the Padres sitting several of their stars tonight, including, the man standing in the way of Shohei Ohtani winning the Triple Crown. And he's batting 314, he's over Ohtani. He compared to Ohtani, which is ridiculous because he's not Ohtani. But they're sitting a couple of their guys. It's what do you feel about that? Do you think you can't blame him for that?
No, that's exactly what you do. I know, I'm all for it. Especially a team like that. That team's about to be playing. Someone really good is about to come into town. They don't know who yet, but someone really good in the next 3 days is coming into town.
That
team is going to be worn out. Someone's going to be worn out, and you're going to be good. It's only a short break. Now, when you look at a team like the Yankees, and you look at a team that if they start giving their players off, now look at this. Say the Yankees didn't have anything to play for, and they sat all their players. That means their players would be off for like 16 days before the game, their next game.
It's always a debate, right? It was a debate every year with
I don't know. Because there's never another time where a major league team has off for that many, not even close.
No, but there is. There's teams where they have off, or they've clinched everything. You play every day, right? Because in baseball, and it happens every year. The Dodgers do it every year, right? They don't pitch their guys, and then they go in, and then they slump in the first 2 games. And all of a sudden, you're out of it because it's that's the question with the new playoff format. Is it?
But that's why the Brewers. I think I know that's a tough one. I like what the Brewers are doing. With the just play your starters the same way you normally would. Keep your routine going. We're just going to take you out early. We're going to take you out early. But then did you see what happened to their guy last night? What's the guy's name? So trying to catch a ball down the right field line, the guy dives into the. Into the the grounds crew's office window. They have the ground crew's office window in right field. The guy full dive in a game that has no consequence to them at all. One of their best players. I wish I even had the guy's name now. Who's the right fielder for the Brewers?
I can't. I know.
No, but he
got hurt.
That looked. That looked like a serious hip injury. If he didn't dislocate his hip, he's so lucky. First of all. And I'm talking, that's like season-ending, if not career-ending, when you do something like that. That's like Bo Jackson stuff.
Yeah, but you have to play like that. You can't play half-ass, half 50%.
Play with what? You shouldn't be out there. What do you mean you can't play half-ass? That guy just ran into a wall for no reason. That makes no difference in his season, and he's 3 days away from playing in the playoffs. For a team who's like minimal, minimal salaries for everybody. And
so now what do we do? Now both? It looks like Price isn't going to pitch for the Braves. He's going to pitch during this series against the Royals. We just threw out Mania. Mania's now right. He's not going to be ready to go. Monday's all hands on deck.
No, they got him out. No.
He's 3 innings. He only pitched 3 innings. You're right.
Yeah, no. That's honestly, there was a point where I think they should have brought him out earlier. I think when they knew less than 4 innings. Now again, he pitched pretty well after. He'd have to one more run, I believe, right?
It was 5. He gave 6 runs. No, 6 runs.
He gave up the 6 or the Mets gave. I can't remember. The last one I think was
3 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned.
5 earned. But I believe they should have took him out after 2 and said, "Oh, okay, regroup, keep him for Monday," right there. Like keep them for Monday.
Yeah, but everybody's
that's,
no matter Monday is everybody all hands on deck. Don't matter who you are, right?
I know.
If we
No, I
need you,
believe
what
that.
you gonna throw? Can you throw? Can you give us an inning? Can you give us 2 batters?
Yeah.
That's what Monday's gonna be. But you'd have 2 games now. What happens? Let me ask you this: what happens if it rains Monday? And why can't?
Let me tell you. No,
why can't
Major
they
League
push it
Baseball would have
back?
to push things back. No, they would
Why
have
can't
to.
They push it back already. Why play a doubleheader?
They should
not
be.
Push it back?
No, it's not the doubleheader. They need to push back the game to Wednesday. Nobody should be playing baseball Tuesday after a doubleheader Monday with no day off in between.
They should have put but they have their schedule. The venues there's not really because most of them are outdoors. But in San Diego, you might have or LA, you might have a concert coming through, right? What do you do there? So now you're gonna have a conflict. You can't just if you sold out a concert at Dodger Stadium, you can't just tell the people no, we're not doing it because the Mets and the Braves have to play
I agree. I agree. No, that's very true. But they already kind of had that budgeted in anyway. Like they knew when the days are going to be for all these games anyway. Like they shouldn't have that. They did have other games. Like they have that time off. They knew when the NLDS is going to be. They knew when the NLCS is going to be. So they had that time blocked off for the stadium and the day in between. So there shouldn't be an issue.
Now, back just quickly on the American League because it's such a good story and it's so out of nowhere. The Detroit Tigers clinched. What do you think about it? I mean, they were, I believe in late August, they had a 0.02% chance of making the playoffs. They went on a run like they are the Diamondbacks of last year, but double.
Well, but you look at it and you go like they must have went on a magical run, right? Like some amazing run that's like barely ever been done before.
They went on a crazy run.
No, they did, but not as good as the Mets. Or right up there as the Mets. And like, does it feel like the Mets? No, put it this way: does it feel like the Mets have played the best baseball in all of baseball for the last 3 months?
Listen,
does it feel that way?
They had a couple 9-game win streaks, right?
No, definitely. But I don't feel like the best team in baseball. You know what I mean? Like
if you're 3 months of the worst team in baseball, we were the worst team in baseball for 3 months.
No, I know that, but what you are now, and what I mean is like Detroit was they went on a good run, like a really great run, but the truth is Minnesota collapsed.
Yeah,
Minnesota they collapsed, total collapse.
Yeah, no, because they had a bunch of
more so. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like, but it was big swing. I just didn't see it coming. Nobody did. I don't think anybody on Detroit saw it coming.
They're a bunch of kids. They got a great.
Love it. That's what I want. It's like
Hinch is a great manager.
It's a Diamondbacks. It's a last year Diamondbacks.
Hinch
type
is
of story.
a great manager. Now tonight, listen, Brett. We need help from an old friend tonight. All right, we need Seth Lugo, who's going up against the Braves, to pitch. Like we need him to come out
Mets thing ever
and help us out. Former Met, now good, Seth Lugo.
He's not going to
come out, and we
it's
need
not
him to
like
do the
that.
right thing. It is like
He's
that. But
blow
he was Cy Young. He was Cy Young candidate for most of the season. 3/4 of the season, he was in the conversation for Cy Young.
You know how this goes. He could be he's a former Met. He's going to have a horrible outing. It's going to be like 7-0 in the second.
Because tonight he's a Met.
Just watch.
Tonight he's a Met again.
Oh, it's
right?
bad. No, he's going to do it on purpose. He might just be like, you know what? Just throw up a couple. So I hate them. I really hate them.
He's got to hate the Braves.
What do you think about this conspiracy theories that the Major League Baseball doesn't want the Steve Cohen Mets to make the playoffs? They're trying to punish him and prove a point.
No, I
don't believe in conspiracy either.
Yes, they don't like him because they're jealous of him because he has more money, right? They're all billionaires.
Yes.
Here's the deal: the Braves, they said that they didn't want to give up the gate, right? The Braves don't draw that big, right? And if you get in the playoffs, that's free money. They don't have to split that with the other owners. So you want to get in the playoffs. Your best chance to get in the playoffs, you're not giving up a home game of this importance. Right?
I think that it trickled. No, but I think it trickled down even further into the umpiring. Like people think that now the umpire, how this game was called.
The umpire,
because that was horrific last night.
He was all over the place.
That was horrible.
He had a bad night, and you heard Alvarez after the game. He even came out. They were like, "What do you think about it?" He's like, "I was wrong. I shouldn't have showed him up like that." But that's because he's just, now. Imagine you're arguing with him like that, and then you got to go crouch in front of him for the next 8 innings.
They did want to. No, you know what they did? They did the classic, oops, I missed it. And it hit the guy. They did the.
Yeah.
It happened.
Did it happen?
They did it.
Whether
Yeah,
he
it was
missed
early
it.
in the game though. It was before the stuff, but I feel like they did it.
It's such a dick move to do if you miss it.
Oh no, it was a good one. It was a good one too. Like it was like, oops, you got crushed. Like good one.
Now listen, I'm worried about Quintana tonight because he's been so up and down. We saw Severino, right?
No.
Severino shit the bed in Atlanta the other day when he had been pitching well. Quintana's last start out, good. Pitched well.
Yeah,
And we even know who's pitching Monday.
He's going to
have
pitch
to be
well.
McGill.
No.
McGill's going to have to start one of those games on Monday, Brett.
Don't. Let me tell you right now,
just
McGill
watched
has
McGill.
earned that start. McGill has earned that
He
start.
pitches 4 innings. And then we go to the bullpen.
Earned. But that's what you need. You need 3 innings out of McGill. That's all you need. This is going to be a all hands on deck. But what do you mean a bullpen? Yeah, it's going to be everybody. There is no such thing as a bullpen. You're either a good pitcher and the best guys go out there. You're going to get everything. And if it's a game, and you can find out, game 2 doesn't exist.
Is there a
it depends on the
they
scenario.
only play the first game? Like they play the first game, let's say the Mets win, they clinch, it's all over. Do they scrap the second game?
It's going to be hard for them to do that. It depends on this. There's not. I think this
questions, right?
The way I believe is it's really going to be a who wins one gets the. If Atlanta wins the first, they're going to get the seed. If it Mets to win the first, then game 2 is going to matter. That's what I think is going to happen.
What do you do?
I feel like if the Mets win, game 2 is going to matter, and I don't think either one cares.
But what happens? Okay, so let's say we go into the Monday. The Mets need to win game 1, right? You blow out your bullpen, you blow out everybody just to get. It's a tight game. You get the win in game 1. You have nobody. You have to game 2. You have to plan for game 2, right? You have to keep somebody, a couple guys. But if you have to
plan for game, no. The plan for game 2 is if game 2 isn't won, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what game 2 is. You deal with game 2. You then go, it's on you, offense. Now is when we need you to score. We don't have those guys. Great. We can't give up 7 or 8 runs. We can give up 4 or 5. They have enough guys. It's not pretty, but I trusted McGill to give us a couple quality innings to start a game.
You're going to be asking for Ottavino to pitch 3 innings in that second game is what you're going to be doing. And that's the white flag.
It depends. No, tonight's
the white flag for this team.
But Bob, everything you're talking about comes down to tonight's game. Tonight's game. No, it does. No, like how much is used, how deep Quintana can go. If Quintana can go give us one of his most recent performances of like 7 innings, and the Mets get a win out. I don't care what happens next, who pitches or not. But if there's a 3-inning game and the Mets are down 5-0 like last night, and we got to bring Budo out, which we can't even do tonight. And they're talking right now, if we let Budo pitch another inning, he's not back till Tuesday. Tuesday doesn't exist.
No,
Tuesday's not us playing.
That's the problem where you get yourself into this situation.
And this is why we have the best manager and we have the right guy for the job. I don't know if it's all going to work out in the end, but I can tell you right now, he doesn't care about. Yes, he's setting it up and he knows what he wants to happen in best case scenario, but he cares about today. He's going to do whatever he can. He changed that lineup. Francisco Lindor probably sat there and said, "Put me back out at shortstop." And this is probably one of the first managers and one of the few managers that probably went back to him and said, "We need you every day, Frankie. We're putting you at DH." And I'm telling you, there's no way that man said, "Take me off the field."
No.
There's no way.
He plays every day. I mean, you know what it shows? It shows how great Cal Ripken's
I'm saying that's good
really
manager.
was.
The manager's given us the best chance we have with a team that had no chance and nobody expected us to be here. So that team starts playing like the team that they've been the entire time.
You got to be careful in what you're bitching and moaning about because there's about 20 other teams that would give anything to be in the Mets situation right now. So you got to be careful. I'm happy.
I'm excited. We're having this conversation right now. How the hell? I'm not talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I'm like 24 hours away from like a huge thing. I don't even care.
The Knicks?
Don't care. The Knicks, unbelievable. Turning into the most amazing thing. This is turning into like the greatest thing I ever could have asked for in my childhood. If you said, "Brett, what do you want for Christmas?" And I'd be like, "Listen, just give me a Knicks, Mets, Jets trifecta of good possible playoff teams for the foreseeable future." I have it now.
I said it yesterday. And throw in
we're 1 to 2 games away.
Throw in federal indictments with the mayor. This is the energy that this city needs right now. A deep Mets playoff run.
I want a parade
team
for that
and
too.
A mayor indicted on federal charges. This is high quality energy for this city.
Yeah.
And I work for the mayor. I know the mayor, Brett. I know the mayor personally. I saw because of these indictments. Me and my wife are all over the TV again on the press conference.
They were like, "Listen, give me your most corrupt. Send them up." We got a podium. Bring his wife. We need somebody just like him. He did the same thing after he got indicted.
He's gonna resign.
He did the same thing to you. Just like you, he was like, bring the whole family. The family's speaking for you.
That's what
and he did the same thing after his one. He was like, bring him out. I want every single person in my family behind me, and
day
they're
he turned
talking.
himself in, all I saw was me and my wife on TV all over the place because they were replaying the press conference that she spoke at.
No, good luck. Now you're going to run for office one day, and they're going to be like, he was the greatest friend of the mayor.
Which I don't know him. I didn't really know him. I didn't know the mayor. So here we go, Brett. The game's on Fox tonight. Do you like that? Do you not like that? You don't get Gary, Keith, and Ron. They were killing the umpires yesterday. And so in the studio too with Gary Apple and whoever else they had. They were killing the umpires.
No, it was Jerry Blevins, and he lit him up so hard. He's like, this man doesn't belong in the leagues. He went off, and it was so awesome to see that, he doesn't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these managers and players, they have to say the right thing. I don't want my guys saying stupid stuff. But, Mendoza got right in his face, and everybody in the booth and, in the studio backed it up. That was crazy. Like, really. I do not want to be an umpire. I'm sorry. To be criticized instantly with the tracking on when it went to see a 100-mile-an-hour ball go inside of a square cube that you have to say, did it touch the beginning of the zone? No way. That is the worst. I'm sorry. I feel like
being an umpire,
he's a terrible ump, but I feel horrific.
My cousin's like an umpire referee, and my brother Brian, he does refereeing for all kinds of stuff. He does basketball, and he does umpiring.
I can see better. I'm sorry, being a behind the plate umpire has to behind the plate umpire, as not every other spot, easiest than sports. The rest of the spots, is it fair? Who cares? But that is probably the hardest. But that's probably the hardest. There's a lot going on. Especially now with the pitch clock and all the stupid stuff.
With all the stuff going on, being an NFL ref, with all those rules, you gotta find holding in the line. Forget it.
Please don't get me started with illegal procedure. They should be eliminated. They shouldn't even exist. I don't even have time for these, ridiculous penalties pre-snap. The guy's foot wasn't on the line or not on the line. Nobody cares.
Yeah, but if you don't have that, they're going to be lining up in all kinds of weird stuff. It's like, they're going to, trust me, they have to have that. I know it's a stupid rule, but if you don't have it, you're going to have all kinds of weird formations.
You should be able to line up any way. You should be lining up any way you want, except for not moving. I hear you. As long as you you should stationary. You should be able to do whatever you want. You're right.
You can come up with some weird lineups, though. But I mean, even in the NFL, you can come up with some legal weird lineups in the NFL.
Listen. Bottom line is, I think robot umps is going to be, once the kinks are worked out, I think it's going to be such a great thing for the sport. As much as the traditionalists are going to hate it more than anything.
Yeah, but
it's going to take away the catchers. Like Alvarez being a great framer isn't going to mean anything ever again.
But the traditionalists get over it, right? Have you heard much?
I don't care
much about the designated
hitter? I want
hitter?
accuracy. We care about accuracy.
Are they bitching and moaning about the designated hitter anymore? No. Are they bitching and moaning still about the runner on second? That was like, oh my God, it's not even baseball anymore. No, you don't even hear about it anymore. Because you know when it works, the pitch clock or the throws over the first
kickoffs in the NFL, all of it. It's all, listen, you have to adapt or die, and exactly that.
So now here's my situation, Brett. I went to work last night at 11 o'clock. I got home at like 5:30. I've yet to sleep. I have work again tonight at 11 o'clock. The game starts in 20 minutes. Am I just not going 2 days now? No sleep? I'm going to not be it's not going to be safe out there with me. And I'm supposed to be protecting the city, the mayor's city.
Well, it's going to be weird because you are going to be protecting him, but he's not going to be mayor anymore. He will be right next to you. So I hear you are right.
He's not going to resign. I go, he's absolutely going to resign. He's not going to be the mayor next week. Give me a break.
It's going to be the mayor, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Diddy, and it's going to be you. It's going to be you, Sam Bankman-Fried, Diddy, the mayor, and you're going to be just talking. And you're going to be like, dude, you're going to be like, shut up, Mayor Adams. I'm trying to take a nap. I had to stay up and watch the Mets game.
Someone get Mayor Adams up for Muslim services. There's an alarm. Diddy's refusing to lock in 3 lower. So
I will tell you right now, I believe you got to talk to somebody, have someone do your punches for you. I mean, I know we should be talking about that. Someone's got to have to get these tours done. It ain't me.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm just taking phone calls now because I caught
an ass whooping.
Like 15?
Half an hour? What is it, half an hour? Like
half an hour what?
Checking You checking them every half hour? Oh, you're on.
Yeah,
You're
every half
working
hour,
different.
every 30 minutes. You got to
every half hour. Unless you're in like special
no matter
stuff.
what happens,
Yeah, 15
there's
minutes.
this lady I work with. No matter what happens, like even when we screw up there, she's like, "Nobody died. Nobody died. It's okay." I'm like,
Oh, yeah?
You know what? You're right. Nobody died. Can't end up with a
That's
body."
true.
So,
Well,
Brett,
like,
we
listen,
have
you
15
know?
minutes from first pitch. Quintana against Caning. Mets, Brewers
This is it.
in Milwaukee.
No, yeah, back on track today, boys.
What do you got? What do you
Back on
got today?
track.
What do you got today? Do they
This
win?
is it.
Does
I told,
Quintana
like I
throw a
said,
gem?
no. I know. I think he puts up a good outing where we only give up 2 or 3 runs. I think the offense comes alive, probably only in 1 inning or 2 innings. But the Mets win this game 7-3.
I don't think this is the best lineup for an offense. To be honest with you, I don't like Nimmo in the cleanup. I'd rather Marte hitting cleanup and Nimmo maybe hitting 7th. If you really want to put him there, I'd start. Listen, what was the best lineup the Mets had all year? Lindor leading off, Nimmo behind him, right? That was where
That's
they
not
shined.
where it's going to come from. I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to get the most of your production tonight from Bader, Acuna, and then it's going to swing back around to one big at bat from Lindor. So there's a point where the bottom of the lineup's going to put us in a spot, and Lindor is going to take it from us. I'm telling you, he's going to step up and he's going to start feeling himself. It takes a game or two to get back. He's on his game 30. He's been hitting the whole time. You're going to see a different Lindor come out tonight.
Well, Brett, you would know. You have back issues, right?
I do, but I'm an old man. And, as an old man, I can tell you, at 30, I could turn around and be no big deal in, 3 to 5 days. And I could go, even right now, I'd say I could, as a DH, I could go crush it in softball today. The problem is I couldn't come back and do it tomorrow if you asked me to.
Well,
now, I'm telling you, Lindor.
Game 159 for the Mets. They got
tonight. He earns the C on his chest. He'll be getting next year. Tell you that much tonight.
In his bank account.
Tonight, the C is earned tonight.
Well, let's listen. We can only hope so, right? We can only hope so.
Captain.
Mets, Brewers. It's coming up next. It's on Fox. If you listen on the radio, it's on 880. Howie, ESPN Radio. It is now. It's not CBS anymore. So enjoy the game, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. For Brett Grasso, I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. See ya.